Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 11 of the Down the Point podcast, presented by Riverpoint Studios. My name is Dylan Garland, and we here at Riverpoint Studios want to start off by saying Happy New Year. It's 2019. Good Lord, we made it. It's the year of Star Wars Episode 9. It's the year of Dora the Explorer, the movie, and we're getting a live-action CGI hybrid of Sonic. So it's going to be a pretty exciting year for fandoms this year. All joking aside, we hope you had a very nice, fun, and safe New Year's Eve. So, welcome to episode 11. This is all going to be sort of a brief preview of what is to come in 2019 and what to expect from Riverpoint Studios, as well as a little bit of a, not a refresher, but a little bit of a, hey, who are you guys? Riverpoint Studios, what are you? What do you do? Who are you? And all that stuff. First off, I just want to say what it took to get to this podcast. I just sort of fiddled around for about half an hour because my microphone was picking up radio stations. So if by any chance during this you end up hearing, the last thing I heard was Bryan Adams' Summer of '69. If you end up hearing any music coming through this, I apologize. Apparently, my current setup where I'm recording right now is a radio hub. So I apologize for that. And I apologize for any car noises you hear because I am right next to a main street. And it's semi-loud. So I apologize for that. So let's jump into this thing. First off, again, I do want to say, I've said first off 18 times. 50th off, I really do hope everybody had a very good and safe New Year's Eve and New Year's. I hope 2019 brings you everything that you wanted, and I hope you work your ass off and kick butt to get there and are very satisfied when the clock turns to 2020. So moving on, let's jump into another thank you. I have notes, and I keep forgetting what I wrote down for notes, so I'm a little hectic starting off here. I'm also standing up, which is a little weird for a podcast. But the only way that I could get Bryan Adams to shut up and not come through my speaker was to stand up. So thank you, Bryan Adams, for the kick in the butt to, I guess, is this considered a workout, standing up for 30 minutes to do a podcast? Thank you, Bryan Adams. 2019 is off to a great start because of you. So next up, I want to talk about something we just put out on the 30th. And it was the Riverpoint Studios Holiday Special, which was something that I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. Sort of start an annual holiday thing where we put out a video around the holidays. And we got to do it this year. I think I've been sitting on this for about 4 years now. But we got to do it this year, and I cannot thank the people involved enough, Patricia, Chelsea, Matthew, Shayla, and Keenan, because it was a last minute. The theme, if you haven't seen it, it was like a variety show special with the theme being lateness. Like, oh, we forgot to shoot this thing, and now we have to rush and get sort of the most basic ideas down to entertain everybody. That was kind of the joke. But I gotta say, in real life, because 2018 was a very busy year and a very hectic, didn't expect the schedules to be what they were type of year, it was pretty much true to life. We were doing this leading up to, the release. Honestly, let's bring the curtain back a little bit. I'll be straight up honest with you. That video uploaded 10 minutes before it premiered. So when I say we were living the lateness life for this holiday special, I genuinely mean it. But I do want to thank every single person involved with creating it because it was sort of this last minute. I wasn't quite sure if we were going to be able to do it. But we got it done, and to everybody involved, thank you so much for sort of making this possible, because I'm very happy with how it turned out, and it couldn't have been as good as it was without the people busting their butt and making it happen. So thank you very much. And of course, I want to thank everybody who gave it a watch, gave it a chance, tuned in on the premiere, or have watched it on YouTube since. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We hope it was entertaining, because that's going to be a yearly thing. And I've already picked out next year's theme. This year's theme was lateness. Next year is going to be a tad bit different, a little bigger, but hopefully just as fun. Biggest thing for me was my sister texted me, and she doesn't like anything I've ever done, but she said she found it funny. And then she insulted me personally. So it was this really good thing where it's like, holy crap, my sister who doesn't like anything I do loves, maybe not loves, that's a strong word, likes / enjoyed, found something funny that I did. And she insulted me. So I'll take the good with the bad. I don't ever expect her to give me a full compliment. I expect her to say, hey, great stuff, and then smack me in the face verbally, which is what she did. So it was great. But actually having her go out of her way to watch something and then text me about it and say she found it funny is like, I think 2019 is an alternate dimension because I didn't expect that. So apparently we did something right. That's my biggest accomplishment of the year. It's all downhill from here, folks. But in all seriousness, seriously, thank you so much for watching the holiday special. We had a lot of fun with it. And for me, it was sort of this, yeah, again, I've been studying this for 4 years now, but I always love sort of the Muppet Show style of things, or even the Star Wars Christmas special, which everybody hates. But I think it's sort of fun and weird, and it's not good by any means, but it's fun and weird, and it's just this really iconic thing. And I kind of wanted to jump in on that sort of train and do something in our style of comedy, present this sort of mess, which is what it was this year, this mess of lateness. And then next year it'll be something different, and the year after that it'll be something different, while also sort of looking back on what the year was in a way. And then with a heartfelt message at the end. It's kind of been the goal of the whole thing for me since I kind of wanted to do it. So thank you. Thank you very much for giving that a chance. And I'm glad we get to end off sort of the first half year of Riverpoint Studios with something like that. So in this podcast, which I realize probably sounds like a maniac trying to talk about a million different things, Down the Point Podcast is a podcast that we've been attempting to do regularly for like 4 years now. And it just has never worked out. And that is solely on me for not keeping up with it. But the Down to the Point Podcast moving forward, just a short update to what it's going to be, is not going to be what you're listening to right now. This is sort of the, let's start off the year 2019. Let's start this off, and here's a bit of information on what's going on. This is sort of like, this is the pilot episode of the podcast, despite the fact that it's episode 11. So the reason I'm talking so fast, and the reason that I'm running out of breath, okay, is because we're cutting this down. It was always sort of an hour-long conversation most of the time. Some of them were like an hour and a half. We're cutting it down to half an hour. Because, one, an hour is a lot to ask from somebody to stick with, and a lot of the time what we were talking about could have been condensed into a half an hour. I will fully admit that. But moving forward, we're going to be half an hour. And moving forward, we're going to be very different with what the podcast has been. And we're going to shift focus to what I originally wanted the podcast to be, which is a show that showcases some local talent. And by local, I mean Nova Scotia, I mean Canada, sort of the whole Canuck world that we live in here up north, where it's always cold and there's polar bears everywhere. Every stereotype you've heard about Canadians, it's true. We bleed syrup, maple syrup. That happens every once in a while. It's when you come of age. It's like, I'm going to stop this. This was going nowhere quick. So the future of the Down to the Point podcast is going to be showcasing the talent of Canada. Now, Canada's a big country, so I'm going to start with Nova Scotia first. Let's start, local, and then see if we need to expand, because there's a lot of talent in Nova Scotia. I have a very big list of people that I want to talk to and get them on the podcast. And the way that I want to present the podcast is, even if I know what this person has done, where they came from, what they do, and all that stuff, I'm going to start it off as if I really don't know. I'm not going to present it like, oh, who are you? Like, I'm not going to play stupid, but I'm going to present with this show a way to sort of get into the mind of a lot of the artists, entertainers of Nova Scotia starting off. I say starting off. The only reason I'm saying Canada is because there's some people that used to live here that have moved that I want to talk to. So I guess I have to categorize that as Canada. But the focus is local talent. Nova Scotia has an incredible amount of talent in the music industry. I'd argue we have some of the best music every single year. We have a lot of fantastic actors, actresses, directors, writers, artists, just everything. We have a lot of fantastic entertainment and artistry here. So what I want to do is I just want to take you take those people. That sounds wrong. That didn't sound right. I want to invite those folks onto the podcast so that we can talk to them and see sort of where they came from and where they're at now. And just talk about their work. So that was the original idea when I started Down to the Point podcast, but I just, at the time, the timing just wasn't right. But I think 2019 for us is a year where it's sort of starting to make sense to go forward with these things. The timing makes sense. Just everything's kind of coming together. So that's going to be Down to the Point podcast. I will let you know through Twitter and our Facebook and stuff like that when that first sort of relaunch of the show will be coming. It'll be coming very soon. It won't be like months. It'll be like weeks, if that. But that's going to be the show going forward, and I'm super excited about that because it's, like I said, it's what I wanted the show to be in the first place. So now we actually get to go down that route and present you guys with maybe people you've never heard before, maybe people you have heard of before, and maybe now you get sort of a closer look at their journey, because the journey of the artists is always sort of very, very interesting because it's never the same. You know, it's always, I started doing this and then this happened. Like for me, nowadays I'm sort of focused, even though it doesn't seem like it on the internet. Nowadays I very much like, movies with a serious tone. Where I started out with comedy, I started out with reality type. Oh yes, I'll just say it. I started out doing Jackass videos. We had a little group, and we were just doing skits and stunts. It's actually how I compression fractured my spine. It's a good time. Still hurts. And then I sort of found the serious side of script writing is the more dramatic and that type of thing. So that's kind of where I got to the point where I am now. Like if you would have told me when I first started doing film, while I was doing these Jackass stunts in my hometown, that my first film would be a very serious, dramatic look at depression, I would have thought you were nuts. But turns out that's how it got, that's what I ended up doing. So that's kind of the types of stories I always sort of want to uncover with the amazing Nova Scotia talent we have. So that'll be the show. Down to the Point will be that moving forward. And I hope you guys enjoy, because I know that I'm going to enjoy discovering that. And I hope through that, you'll enjoy this sort of journey as well. So, Down to the Point. I'm not going to delete any of the previous episodes because I like sort of seeing where we were, what we talked about, and how we got to a point where the show actually sort of came alive. So I'm going to keep all that up. But that's sort of the future of the Down to the Point podcast. So we're 13 minutes in. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about what River Point Studios is, because again, this is almost the infomercial version of the podcast. River Point Studios, which officially started in, I think, July 2018. So when everything was registered and all that jazz, all that fun business jazz. In a nutshell, the sort of the briefest version of what I can give you is we're a variety channel on YouTube. So sort of our main focus this year with consistent content will be on YouTube. We're a variety channel. We've done some skits in the past. We've done some serious stuff. We've done a mixture of both, like with the holiday special. We've done podcasts. We've done everything, short films and all that stuff. And this year with River Point Studios, we're going to continue that. But we're going to continue it with a little bit more of our flavor. And what I mean by that, and I think a lot of people in the arts can agree with this type of thing, when you get into the arts, when you get into anything really, music, film, just anything, painting, just sort of anything that takes the creative mind to do, you get in certain roads where you're following exactly what you're being told to do because you think it's the best thing to do. It's the best thing to do for your career. It's the best thing to do for your art and all that stuff. And you get to a point where you just follow every single sign. And I think it can become quite stagnant when you're trying to find your voice. You're trying to figure out, well, what do I want to say with this? What do I want to do with what I'm doing with my art? And it at some point, it almost becomes a factory line where you're doing what is almost pre-packaged in a way, and you sort of lose your flavor that you provide to your work. And for me personally, I've hit that a couple times. So with Riverpoint Studios, with what we're doing this year, is we're sort of inviting that sort of rebel spirit to what we do. We're going to let our voice go. Some of it might work very, very well. Some of it might not work at all. You know, it's sort of the gamble to what we're going to do this year. But for me, it's very exciting because the people involved, the frequent collaborators of Riverpoint Studios, we have Chelsea Camo, Patricia Brown, Shayla Miller, Matthew Horseman. Keenan Carroll was part of the holiday special, and I know just from initial conversations, we'll be working with him quite a bit over the next year and hopefully beyond. And just, folks like that, they all have a very unique sort of vision to what they want to put out there. And we at Riverpoint Studios want to present that in the rawest form possible. We want to put out what we feel individually and as a group is our voice, whether that is through comedic skits, whether that's through podcasts. I'm starting a Star Wars podcast in like a week because I love Star Wars and I really want to talk about it because I won't shut up in person. So maybe somebody on the internet will listen to me because my friends are tired of it. Or if it's in, dramatic stuff like short films or feature films. Because the plan right now, I can't go into detail too much, although I think I teased it. Yeah, I did tease it in the Riverpoint Studios launch video a couple months ago. We're working on feature films to put out in a very accessible way, because that's sort of our goal. At least that's my goal for what we do at Riverpoint Studios is accessibility. And what I mean by that is just anybody in the world can access what we do, whether it's feature films or YouTube videos or podcasts. Because I think it's important to sort of, if I'm going to make content through Riverpoint Studios, I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to see it and judge for themselves whether they like it or not. So that's the big thing that we're doing this year, is we're focusing on our voice with everybody that works with us. It's, what do you want to do? How can we help you showcase that in a video or anything? And let's rock and roll. Let's do it. Where years pass, and I can admit this, I think it's just been so focused, and this is 100% on me. I've been so focused on looking at what's popular, what is the trend, what should I be doing, instead of what I want to do. In the YouTube space, in the content creation space, in the sort of world of the new media, if you will, sort of the internet escape of entertainment. So that's our goal. That's our motto, sort of our mantra for the year, is we want to create content that we want to create. And we want to make sure that that content is as accessible as humanly possible for everybody who wants to give it a chance. The specifics of what we're doing, I don't want to get into every detail at this point, because we are working on a lot of planning. What's feasible this year? Well, we want to do 5 feature films. Probably not going to happen because feature films cost money. So let's see what the options are. So I don't want to get into specific details because, again, things could change on the bigger project side. But I do want to give you a little heads up on what's to come in 2019. What to expect from Riverpoint Studios in 2019. One is more web series shows, like long-form web series shows. And what I mean by that is, 10-minute shows with a season that are coming out, 9 episodes or 10 episodes a season of shows we want to do. Some of them will be dramatic. We are working on one now that we're hoping to start maybe in the summer or the fall, depending. Actually, it almost comes down to story stuff, because we've been talking about, well, when do you want to set this? Like, when should it take place? sort of a dramatic thriller show. But that's something we're working on. The first thing I think we're going to work on this year, not think, I know, the first thing we're working on this year is a show that myself and Matthew Horseman have been discussing for, it's got to be 4 years now, maybe even longer. It's a reality-based show that we want to do together, and we're going to start filming that very, very soon, like probably within the next few weeks. And that show, I won't give specific titles because that might change as we sort of figure out what we want to brand this thing, but that show is going to be a discovery show mixed with, not the channel, the word, not the Discovery Channel, that'd be cool, the word Discovery, mixed in with a little bit of competition between us. And the focus is going to be local here in Nova Scotia type of deal, sort of finding, hey, this province is great. What is there to do in this province? Well, let's find out, and while we're there, let's see who the better man is type of thing. Just sort of a fun, playful thing. Almost in the style of, the old MTV shows, the Viva La Bam and stuff like that. I grew up with those types of shows, and I've always wanted to do one myself. And me and Matt have talked about this forever, but the timing just wasn't right. And it's this sort of a theme for the past couple of years. But now it is, and I'm very excited. I hope you guys enjoy it. Matt's style of humor is phenomenal. His improvisation skills are some of the best I've ever seen. Anything that I've ever done with him, I really haven't given him any direction. I sort of say, hey, just be you, man. And it ends up being hilarious because he's very funny. And I feel like we work well together. So it's going to be exciting. It's sort of this, man, I've wanted to do this forever. Let's do it. Yes, let's finally do it. So that'll be coming out very, very soon. And we'll be posting a lot of like updates and behind the scenes stuff on our Cecil's Workshop side of things. And Cecil's Workshop, if you don't know, we have a Instagram page and a YouTube channel where that will be focused on the behind the scenes aspect of Riverpoint Studios specifically. Like there won't be finalized projects on that. It'll just be, hey, do you want to see, for example, we have coming in the next week or so, like a behind the scenes look at the holiday special, because there's a bunch of bloopers, there's things that didn't work out and stuff like that I want to talk about and showcase what it took to sort of make the holiday special. So that type of thing will be coming out very soon with as we shoot the show with me and Matt. Other than that, we are going to be working on, a lot of one-offs. One of the things that we started last year was the Riverpoint Studios Viral Hits, which it is not to be taken seriously, the title. I sort of grew up in the era I started really working in the era of viral hits, like the flash mob era and all that stuff, when it really took off and the term viral was almost viral itself, where it just spread throughout everybody's mouth. And it always kind of struck me as funny when people would kind of say, hey, we should do a viral video, when the definition of viral goes against that sentence in every form. So we wanted to call it Viral Hits as sort of a joke to that kind of era and that sort of a statement where they're clearly not viral hits because they're just coming out. So it's not quite how viral works. So a little on the nose, sure, but it's fun, I think. But we're going to do more of those. Those are sort of like one-off skits here and there. They're more in the comedy section of entertainment. But we're going to be uploading new stuff to there quite frequently over the next year, as well as some old stuff, because my sort of goal is, over the past couple of years, we've put out a lot of content over a variety of channels. Like it's never been sort of streamlined into one section or one home. Where with Riverpoint Studios, I'm treating this as our hub, our home for the next, hopefully forever, where all of our stuff is in one place. Because again, the sort of accessibility that I was focusing on and the ease of access to our content. So I'm going to be uploading some of our favorite stuff over the years. Not too frequent, because I don't want to overload the channel with, hey, here's old stuff, watch. We want to be doing new. But I'm going to be uploading, some of our old skits, some of our old short films and stuff to the channel so that their new home is the Riverpoint Studios YouTube page and the Cecil's Workshop as well, because we had some behind the scenes stuff and all that. So that's sort of that side of things, as well as we are going to be working on feature films. How many this year? I don't know. I know at least one that we're working on very, very closely right now, that we had hoped to start last year, but just scheduling for just personal work stuff did not allow it. And I sort of made a personal decision for both health reasons and stress reasons and all that stuff that I don't know if I want to dive into a feature film right now because it might cause my heart to explode. So we didn't do that. But we are working on one this year, hopefully two, but we'll see. And the goal, again, is once it's done, we put it out for you all to see. And I think it's going to be really fun because, honestly, it's been a very long time coming. And I think what I personally have used sort of my 20s as, I'm still in my 20s, but you know what I mean. In my teenage years, in my early 20s, was sort of used figuring out what the hell I am as somebody who very much loves film, who loves storytelling, who loves the new media side of the world, YouTube and stuff like that. I've been spending so much time figuring out what the hell I want to do. I've restarted, stopped, restarted so many times, where I think for the first time in maybe forever, I'm sort of going into 2019 feeling very, very confident in what we're about to do. Not overconfident, because it's scary, and most of it probably won't work, but some of it will, and we'll grow with, learning about ourselves and entertainment and what an audience likes and sort of the type of audience that we bring in. But it's exciting for me. I think 2019 looks like it's just going to be the most exciting year for us at Riverpoint Studios, and we hope and we'll be working very hard towards making sure that you guys are entertained. It's been my goal since the beginning. I just didn't know how to sort of present that goal in a way that made sense, but I think now I'm starting to get it, and it's sort of very exciting. So not a lot of details specifically. I guess Down to the Point had a lot of detail, but the show with me and Matt will be coming out hopefully in February. I think somewhere around February. We're going to start shooting in January. We have a potential dramatic thriller show we're going to do either in the summer or the fall. Feature film that we're working on sometime in the first quarter of the new year. We're going to start. Don't know the specific dates. We're still working out a couple of things. Paperwork is always fun with those things. So that type of thing. And yeah, again, throughout, we have the podcast here that will be showcasing Nova Scotia talent. We have a Star Wars podcast, which I don't know where the home's going to be, if it's going to be on Riverpoint Studios or my own personal YouTube channel. Selfish bugger. But we'll figure out where that'll be. And if you're a Star Wars fan, it might be fun just to sort of chat about Star Wars. It'll be a lot less talk like this. I'm going to slow my roll a little bit. And, just the various sort of YouTube-only hits, viral hits that we're calling it, and that type of thing. So it's so exciting. And I know that sounds super cheesy, but I'm very excited for whatever this year is going to bring. I feel good. And most years I do not feel good. I feel scared shitless and thinking, why, my God, this isn't going to work. But this year it feels like it's sort of all coming together. And we're going to be really working hard to make sure that you guys get a little bit of entertainment. We want to bring you out of reality for a little bit and, allow you to de-stress with entertainment across the board. So that's our 2019. And I think it's going to be very, very exciting for everybody involved. So this show is a half hour long, as I mentioned. So to end this off, because the day that this comes out is also the day of the Golden Globes. Holy crap. Didn't know they were tonight. So let's, as a fun way to end this, I'm gonna predict the winners of the 2019 Golden Globe Awards. Didn't expect that, did you? So first up, for Best Motion Picture Drama, we have Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star Is Born. My money is on Black Klansman. I've heard great things. Haven't seen it yet, but I've heard great things. Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama, we have Glenn Close, Lady Gaga, Nicole Kidman, Melissa McCarthy, and Rosamund Pike. I've got Lady Gaga for that. Still haven't seen the movie, but I've heard she's great. Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama, we've got Bradley Cooper, Willem Dafoe, Lucas Hedges, Rami Malek, and John David Washington. That's a tough one. I'm going to say Rami Malek because I've heard nothing but great things for his portrayal of Freddie. What's his name? Oh my God, I can't think of the guy's name. Bohemian Rhapsody, lead singer, Queen. Freddie Mercury. Holy crap! I almost said Freddie Prince. That's somebody else. Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. Crazy Rich Asians, The Favorite, Green Book, Mary Poppins Returns, Vice. I'm going to go with Vice because it's the one movie I've seen on that list, and I absolutely adored it. Best Actress in Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. Emily Blunt, Olivia Colman, Elsie Fisher, Charlize Theron, Constance Wu. I'm going to go with Constance Wu because, again, haven't seen Crazy Rich Asians yet. I really want to, but I've heard nothing but good things about that film. Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. Christian Bale, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Viggo Mortensen, Robert Redford, John C. Reilly. I'm going to go with Christian Bale because I loved him as Dick Cheney. Absolutely loved him. Vice was absolutely phenomenal. Best Actress in a Supporting Role in any Motion Picture. Amy Adams, Claire Foy, Regina King, Emma Stone, Rachel Weisz. Ooh. I'm going to go with Claire Foy for First Man. Haven't seen it yet, but again, I've heard it's very good. Best Actor in a Supporting Role in any Motion Picture. Mahershala Ali. I am so sorry. I absolutely butchered that. Timothy Chalamet, Adam Driver, Richard E. Grant, Sam Rockwell. We've got 2 Star Wars alumni on that one with Adam Driver and Richard E. Grant because Richard Grant is in the new one. I'm going to give it... That's a tough one. I'm going to give it to Adam Driver. And I hope he wins. I'm sure everybody else is absolutely fantastic on this list, but I'm going to give it to Adam Driver because I'm biased and I'm a Star Wars fan. That's my choice. So I'm not going to do every one of these because that took way longer than I expected. But there's a little fun way to end off the Down to the Point podcast. My name is Dylan Garland. I hope you enjoyed listening. This has been the sort of informational version or episode of this show because the next episode is going to be what this show was meant to be, showcasing talent here in Nova Scotia in Canada. So hope you join us. We really appreciate all the support over the years you've given us. Riverpoint Studios is obviously new, but we've been making content for probably nearing a decade now. And I just want to say thank you because you've been patient and so supportive with us, even though because of me, we've been all over the place. It's no one else's fault, trust me. So thank you so much for all of that. And to end this off, to continue sort of an ongoing joke of Down to the Point, I do want to update you on one of the most anticipated films of 2019, and that's Dora the Explorer. If you have not heard, Benicio del Toro has been cast as Swiper the Fox. So what I thought couldn't get better has gotten better. So thanks again for watching, guys. Next time on Down to the Point, we will be sitting down with an incredible artist. I don't want to tell you who yet, just because maybe scheduling won't work out, but we're going to sit down with this incredible artist and learn their journey to where they are today. So thanks again. This is the end of an era for Down to the Point podcast, but the next era is going to be really fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. No, oh my God, one last update I completely forgot about. You're only listening to this podcast because the video version doesn't exist anymore. Last year I said we were going to do a video version of this podcast, which if you're watching this on YouTube, it's just a logo with some effect on it. We decided against that because we just don't have the setup to do it right. And it just would not work for what we want to do for the future of the podcast. So someday we probably will, if we have a setup sort of in a studio space or something like that, we'll probably bring the video version back. Maybe we'll even do it live. That's kind of always been a dream of mine. But for now, it's just audio only. So, last update. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the Golden Globes, and we'll see you next time. Well, you'll hear me next time on Down to the Point. See you later, everybody. Also, thank you, Joel Freck, for this amazing theme song. See you.